Hey everybody, Rich here with another retro video. This time I'm doing the Windows I said I wouldn't do, but damn it, I'm gonna do it anyway. Yep, this one. Windows ME, or Windows Me, or Windows Millennium Edition. However you choose to call it. And this is the real deal. The official 2000 release. Okay, I am doing this video as a response to another individual who did every version of Windows from version 1 all the way to Windows 7, and he installed every single one and showed the upgrade process through each. However, he skipped over this version, and he also skipped over Windows NT 4.0 Workstation, and I will have that, I've already covered that in a previous video, and I'll have that linked in an annotation at the end of this one if you want to check that out. But in this one, we're going to concentrate on this turd, that being Windows ME. What made it such a turd, though? Well, a couple of things. Actually, more than a couple of things. Before getting into the bad stuff, though, I'll get into the good stuff. Now, the first Windows Movie Maker actually did appear here in Windows ME. Windows Movie Maker 1. It is here in Windows ME. So it made its first appearance. This came originally bundled with Internet Explorer 5.5, which I have upgraded to IE6. That's the highest it will go. And with Flash Player 9 installed, which I also have in here, it is able to... Oops, get back into the address bar there. It is able to view YouTube video. You get this huge nastygram whenever you, because YouTube doesn't officially support this browser, but you can close it and then hit the play button. It should hopefully start, and it does. YouTube generally performs okay in Windows ME and 98. It's a very script and flash heavy site, so don't expect too much out of it, but it does work. That's the whole point. So, and just to show that yes, this is IE60 128-bit edition. Okay, so we had also, this is the first time we saw category treatment. Looks like this usually. Category treatment in the control panel. It looks kind of nice for the way ME is. We prefer this, obviously, but it had this, and this carried over into XP later on. Trying to think if there's any other goodness about this before I get to the badness of it. It does boot faster than Windows 98, but the reason it boots faster is what makes it sucks the most. I'll cover that in a second. It also shares the Windows 2000 icon set. Notice that by looking at this. So it has that Windows 2000 familiarity, and for vintage Windows users, or just however you want to term it, they like that look because it just looks good. And when you look at things like program windows, you'll notice that it has the fading color, like Windows 2000 does as well. So anyway, that's pretty much the end of the good stuff, and now we got to get to the bad crap. Okay, well, I have one more thing to... no, actually, I can't even call that good. I'll explain what that means in a second. Okay, this is the last DOS-based Windows, because after all, Windows ME is not technically a Windows operating system, it's a Windows operating environment. The underbelly of this is obviously MS-DOS. The thing that truly sucks about it is that you cannot exit to DOS. So if you go to start and shut down, ordinarily in Windows 95 and 98 you have to shut down to MS-DOS mode or restart in MS-DOS mode. Not here. Not in Windows 98. They got rid of the real mode MS-DOS, so it would boot faster, and that is a huge reason, that people hated this so much, because you couldn't run legacy DOS stuff in this Windows. It was, it made people mad. Very, very, very mad. So there was that. Another thing is that Windows 98 had theme support. If you look at the all icon view here, there's no themes icon. 98 SE, I believe. Yeah, it was 98 SE that had themes, and there's no themes in ME. Didn't come back until XP. That's crappy. That's very crappy because themes were cool. Now, there might have been a Windows Millennium Edition Plus pack that added in themes. If there was, I never saw it. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it never existed. Another thing that seriously sucked about this OS operating environment is that it will not support more than 1.5 gigs of RAM. That is the maximum RAM this will support. Another goodness about this is that if you happen to get malware in this version of Windows, which would be unlikely today, the system restore will actually save the malware. Yes, it will. So if you restored from a system restore point, it would bring back the malware. That doesn't mean that this Windows came with malware in it. It never did. Never, never, never did. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you happen to get some by downloading some rogue program or a drive-by download, whatever it's called these days, and it would actually save that in the system restore point, which was thankfully Windows does not do that anymore. So that was kind of crappy as well. Yeah, so you can't run your old DOS games in this, and it had instability with a lot of hardware. This is, by the way, the reason they called Vista ME 2.0 is because it had somewhat of the same hardware compatibility issues on first release, like ME did. ME didn't work with a lot of stuff, and people had a hard time installing it. So anyway, before I end this one, I'll note some goodness with this. There's very little goodness to it, but I'll note it anyway. Firefox 2.0.0.20 does work on this. Just the same as Windows 98 as soon as it gets going here. Do you want to use default browser? Yes, I do. And it is more speedy than the IE6 browser is when it loads stuff. You still get the same nastygram, but you'll notice that YouTube pages load a little faster, and other script-heavy sites will load a little faster as well. 7-zip works on this, but then again, it'll work on Windows 95 as well, so that works out very nicely. Was there anything else I wanted to mention about this thing? No, not particularly. It's one of the Windows ME is like if you took the worst of Windows 98 and the worst of Windows 2000 and you put it into one operating environment, you get Windows ME. Like I said, you can't go into DOS. It doesn't have the stability of. It has the crash-happy nature of Windows 98. It has the non-compatible with DOS of Windows 2000 because it had horrendous MS-DOS support. There's no themes, kind of difficult to customize, other than what you're given. And there's really not much more to say about this. There's a reason that this was only on the market for less than a year. Yeah, it was released in, I believe, September 2000, and then Windows XP was released in August 01, so this wasn't even on the market for a year before it got canned. Microsoft amazingly supported this up until 2006. That doesn't mean it was on the shelf until 2006, but they supported it up until then. Why, I have no idea, because this is a horrible, horrible, horrible version of Windows. And, oh yeah, it came bundled with online services from America Online, AT&T, Earthlink, and Prodigy. We hate all that crap. Ugh. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Don't use this. Don't download it. Don't install it. You will not be able to do a damned thing with it other than say, yeah, I'm running ME. It sucks. Yeah, it sucks. That's why no one uses it.